Hi, happy Sunday. I'm Rachel. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and an ADHD certified clinician in the wonderful, freezing state of Wisconsin. More importantly, though, I identify as a neurodivergent. So a little backstory, I was diagnosed with ADHD at the age of 33, kind of a late bloomer. And over the past 7 years, I've really spent a lot of time trying to understand my brain, my body, and my soul to better be able to live in this world, I guess you would say. But it's taken a lot of work. It's taken a lot of empathy. It's taken a lot of time. And as I work with most neurodivergents, because that's kind of my niche, I have recognized that most of us, because we are genetically wired the same, often have similar emotional patterns. And a lot of the late bloomers, like me, often live in a sense of what would have happened to my life had I found out a little bit earlier. So growing up, before I knew what executive functioning was, I often heard a lot of statements from the people who I really trusted the most and who I also believed would really understand me. Some of the things I would hear is, Rachel, you're so sensitive. You're so emotional. You're always late. You're unorganized. Your head's in the clouds. Why can't you sit still? Why do you blurt out answers? Why can't you commit to one thing? Why do you interrupt all the time? The list could go on and on. And up until that diagnosis, I let a lot of those statements and parts that helped form my identity really impact me. They impacted me in a way that I didn't necessarily love, honor, and trust myself. But more so, I started to be self-deprecating, angry, resentful, frustrated. Because what people don't often understand is that our wiring is so much bigger than us being on time, us being organized, us being able to do daily tasks, including hygiene, get in the shower, brush your teeth, right? All that stuff that most people look at us and are like, I don't understand why it's a problem. So as I've worked with fellow neurodivergents over the past 7 years and really honed in on a lot of these similarities that we share, I've recognized that what most of us are missing is a sense of purpose, a sense of identity, a sense of understanding self and how we could live more fully in this already chaotic world. And if you know our brain, you know that it's completely haywire most of the time because it's thinking, and it's feeling, and it's thinking, and it's feeling, and it's there. Overwhelm, right? And now we double down with the environment. So external and internal, it creates some chaos. And we'd be lying if we didn't recognize that. And so a huge sense of my calling and my purpose over the 7 years has been to serve other neurodivergents through my personal journey, helping them understand that neuroscience and spirituality must both exist together as one to feel this overall sense of enlightenment, right? Or meaning, which I often hear we're missing because we don't know how to hone in on our superpowers that elevate us to that next level. But instead, we're watching all these people around us simply do, create, be, earn, and we're like, how do I keep up? Because sometimes we're either 1,000 steps ahead or we feel like we're 1,000 steps behind. So, if I told you that the key to feeling grounded, fulfilled, and in control is not choosing between science and faith, but that we have to have both, I can help you create a framework that's going to allow you to live life so much more full. And I have a gut feeling that you want that you desire that. Because why shouldn't you? Why shouldn't you want more for yourself? Right? It's a crazy question. But I often hear it. And I often hear it that, well, we just weren't designed to be able to be at that level of how neurotypical people are. But I call it out. That's BS. So here at the Divine Distraction, what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you micro practices, gentle mantras, where we're going to create meaningful change. Not all at once, no, because that would be system overload. But in ways that you're going to mentally, emotionally, and physically be able to practice these things consistently. I know, consistency's hard. But with that movement, you are going to find powerful meaning. And we're also going to make it self-sustaining. Because once you find that rhythm, your inner rhythm, I promise you, everything starts to fall in place. And then we start to feel this sense of peace, which is this nice vibration, right? That a lot of us don't even recognize we desire. I was there. I know. I get it. Because our brain is so used to chaos that we love it. We become almost addicted to it. And then we don't know how to get out of that cycle. And it becomes this negative feedback loop. So if any of this resonates so far, I invite you to join me here every Sunday to build this neurodivergent community on my favorite 3 C words: curiosity, compassion, and conviction. And together, we are going to put those 3 all in one big, meaningful motion so you can start to feel alive and in control and want to wake up, oh yeah, on Monday, go to work, go to school, do the thing, that's right. Because a lot of us dread Monday, but I'm going to make Monday your favorite day of the week. Because it's a new start. It's a blank canvas, and we get to be the co-creator of it, which is beautiful by design. So if any of this resonates, I welcome you to join me every Sunday to recharge, reconnect, and rediscover your spark. I'm Rachel, and welcome home.